How do you feel about bees? Hi everyone, Cristin here, and we are continuing with our Spring Showers quilt. Today we're going to work on some bees. So my daughter is named Melissa, which if you didn't know means honeybee. So she loves bees. She loves all things bees. She has lots of bee items. So I made a bee shirt. This was for the Bella Box a few years ago, maybe just a year ago or so. Anyway, today we are going to make some bees. So we are going to start with the bee wings. That's the first part. And we are going to use tulle and mylar. Tulle and mylar. So I didn't pre-cut mine. I will do it right before I'm going to make the blocks. And the reason is because this stuff is easy to lose. So even in our little packets, it can get misplaced really easily. So I'm just going to cut it right before I'm going to use it just to make sure I don't lose it. So what we need though is this is for the dimensional wings that we will add on to the bees when we make the bees. So we're going to start with the tulle. So this is tulle. If you've never seen tulle, think of like little ballerina skirts. So the tulle we are going to cut to 2.5 by 2, and we want 8 pieces because we're going to use 2 in each of our 4 wings. So 2.5 by 2 for the tulle. And then for the mylar, same thing, 2.5 by 2, but we only need 4 pieces. I don't know why I have 2 pieces of mylar. I think I lucked out or I added some or something. But anyway, so you want 4 pieces that are 2.5 by 2 of the mylar, and we're basically going to sandwich it with the tulle. That's how we will make our dimensional wings. So for now, that's all. We're just going to work on the wings. And one thing is that the bobbin thread should be the same as your top thread. I'm sure I'll use white. And you know what? I'm almost positive that I will put 4 in one hooping. And I will show you how to do that using embroidery software. You could probably even do it on your machine, but it'll save on stabilizer, save on time. They're really little wings. So I think that that will work out well. We do want wash away stabilizer. I think that's the blue one. Yep, wash away stabilizer. It's got like a teal label on it, so we're going to use that. I haven't used mine yet. As you can see, it's a new package. So that is what we're going to put in our hoop to be able to make our bee wings. So wash away stabilizer and no quilting design, no batting, nothing, just the dimensional wings for now. Hi everyone, so I'm going to do a little something different for my next blocks. For the bee wings and the bees, I'm going to merge them into one hoop each, wings and bees. It is not necessary to do that at all. You can do them separately, absolutely, but it's another way to learn our embroidery software, and it's also going to save on some time and some stabilizer and trying something new. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm using Embellishment Essentials. I'm going to go ahead and open that now, and it opens up to my 5x7 hoop. Perfect, actually, that's what I want. It will open up to whatever hoop you used last. And to change your hoop, you just go up to this folder that says Preferences and go ahead and change your hoop to whatever size you're looking for. You can also change the name of the hoop because they're in millimeters when you start. So you can see I've already changed some of mine. So I'm going to stay with my 5x7 hoop, and I'm going to go ahead and go to this Merge Stitch File button and bring in the first bee wing. So I click, it'll ask you where you have that, and so I've got mine here on my desktop, and I'm just going to double click on my bee wing, and I'm going to move it over here, and then I will hit Control C to copy it and Control V to paste it. So I'm doing that on my keyboard, and you can see it just saved it right over the first one. So I'm just moving that out of the way, and then I'm going to hit Control V to add another one and Control V for a 4th one because we have 4 bees we're going to make. So you can see I have my 4 bee wings here, and they're very messy. So let's see if we can try out that Align and Distribute option that Embellishment Essentials has. So if I go up here to Utility and then click on Align and Distribute, and then let's go ahead and try left. We'll have them go left, and that should, actually, I think I have to copy them or select them first. Let's see. Yeah. All right, so if I select them, sorry about that, and then go to Utility, Align and Distribute, and I'm going to say on the left, and let's try this. Yep, nice, perfect. All right, so you can see it moved them all over to the one that was started on the left, and so I'm just going to move them all to the middle now and center that on my hoop. All right, so that's really nice. So they look like they're already distributed, but let's go ahead and give it a try. So Utility, Distribute, this Distribute button here, and let's just say spacing. Let's try spacing. See what that does. Oh, it did. So it moved this one just a little bit down from the other. So that's perfect. All right, so we've got it all centered in our hoop. We have 4 wings. We could be done at this point. This would be easy and save some time, but we can save even more time. So at this point it would save stabilizer, but we have, let's see how many. Down here at the bottom, it says we have 12 color stops for these 4 wings. So that means that there's 3 for each wing. So you can see there's the placement for the wing, the tack down, actually the decorative stitch on with the tack down, and then the last one is a satin stitch. So, and we're going to do the same thing on each of these wings. So we could do a color sort, and that would make it so that they will group together. So let's try that. So if we go to Utility and then Color Sort, and it tells us this design page has been reduced by 9 color changes. Perfect. So here you have an option. You can click Save It, or you can click New View. I'm going to click New View just to make sure that it actually did what I thought it should do. So I'm going to click New View, and you see it made another tab. So here's our original one with the 4 different bee wings separated. And then in the New View is Untitled 2, and that is one big set of wings. So if I click on this little plus sign here, it shows me that all of the wing placement stitch, and then the wing decorative stitch, and the satin stitch of all the wings. So 3 steps, shows it down here, 3 steps. Easy. That was so simple, so easy. So this is great. So now we're going to do a file save as. So if we did a save, it would save over our original file that had 1 bee wing. Well, later in life, you might not want 4 bee wings. You might want just 1, and then you've already saved over it. So if we do a save as, then we have the original file and our new file. So I'm going to go to Save As. I have an option of saving the working file, or saving the stitch file, or saving both. I don't need the working file on this. Saving the working file means that you want to make more changes to this. And you can actually do that with your stitch file, but if you have wording in there, letters, then it's good to save the working file, because especially with working with BX fonts, it will make it much easier to make changes. But I don't have any wording on here. I know I'm not going to make any changes, so I'm just going to save a stitch file. So make sure to do the save as, save stitch file as, and then we're going to name it. So, oh, it opened up to my Spring Showers quilt. That's perfect. You could save it to your desktop. You could save it in your original folder, whatever works for you. You could name it My Bee Wings. You could name it Bee Wings Sorted. You could name it whatever you want. Actually, I think if you didn't do that new view and you just did a save from there, I think it gives you an option of saving it with a name of like sorted. That would be easy too. So, all right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on Bee Wings, and then I'm going to quickly change it, and I'm just going to write sorted. So it's the regular file and then sorted, and then I'm going to click save. You can see I already did this, so I'm going to say sorted X, save. All right, done, easy peasy. So now we have that. We would transfer it to our USB stick, bring it over to our machine, and stitch this out all on one piece of stabilizer, all in one shot, with just 3 quick easy steps. So easy. That's the bee wings. So don't worry, we will go over all of this step by step, but we are going to remove them from the hoop and spritz them with water to get that wash away stabilizer to go away. And then we will use them once they're dry, we'll use them for our bees. All right, so once we have our bee wings, let's go ahead and make those bees. They're really little. Again, I will probably put them all in one hooping, maybe. If I do, I will add information on how I'm doing that. So I've realized why I have two pieces of mylar. So we need one for the bee wings and then one for the actual bees. So you should have two pieces of mylar. And again, I didn't pre-cut mine. I'll do it right before I'm going to use them just so that I don't lose them because they're sticky and they like to float away. All right, so we need our mylar. So for the mylar, it's going to be 2.5 by 2, and since we're making 4 bees, you're going to want 4 pieces of mylar. That is 2.5 by 2. That's for the actual bees. We already used the other one for our wings. All right, so we are going to use this for our background fabric. So this is that, someone told me it's called linen. So it is the light tan with a bunch of tan lines all over it. And we want 4 pieces of this in 4.5 by 4.5. And I did back each of them with fusible stabilizer just to ward off puckers because we're going to add bees to it and we're going to quilt them. So 4 pieces at 4.5 by 4.5 for your linen fabric. Can you see that? It's lines all over it, is the design on it. All right, so 4 of those. And then for the little bees, look at this, will show you how little those bees are gonna be because the little piece for the bee body is very small. So the bee body is 2 by 2 and it is that gold mustard colored silky solid. And I did back these with fusible stabilizer. And like I said, I'm using the Kimberbell fusible stabilizer on the back of all of my fabrics, except for the chenille fabrics. Don't do it on chenille. Everything else I am doing it. So 2 by 2, yeah, 2 by 2 for the bees, 4 pieces. All right, and then we are going to quilt these. So, oh my gosh, it's going to be so cute. So we're doing 2 different quilting designs. Again, you can use whatever works for you. I am going to use, what is it? Orange Peel 2. and geometric 3, orange peel 2 and geometric 3. So for your batting, whenever we quilt, we want batting. So our batting, our final cut size of this is 2.5 by 2.5. So that means that we want a piece of batting that's 3 by 3. And since we're making 4 bee blocks, we want 4 pieces of batting that are 3 by 3. All right. And then our quilting, like I said, we're going to use a 2x2 design. You can use any design that you want. And you can do this in a small hoop, so you don't have to rehoop, so you don't have to worry if it's a blue or orange design. I think both of these are orange, but I'm not positive about that. But I am using orange peel 2 on bees 1 and 3, and then I'm using geometric 3. That's a new one. I like that. It's the one that looks like a beehive. Perfect, how fun. So in 2x2, and I'm doing that on bees 2 and 4. All right, so these are little, like I said, I'll probably put them all in one hoop to save on stabilizer and time, and I will add information on how I'm doing that if you choose to do that as well. All right, let's make some bees. The bee wings. So now for the bees, moving on to the bees, there are 4 bees, and they are 4 different bees, but a lot of the steps on the bees are the same. So let's go ahead and try merging those 2. Again, you don't have to. You can do these 4 bees completely separate. It would be fine. I'm going to merge them together into one hoop. That's my choice and totally optional. So if I go to File, New Page, then I've got a new blank page, and again, it's on my 5x7 hoop. You can see that down here at the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and change that by going to my Preferences folder, and then I'm going to change to my 8x8 hoop. All right, up here on this little navigation thing, I don't remember what it's called. If you hit the H button, it shows just your hoop, so that makes it easy to be able to see everything all at once. So we're going to go to Merge Stitch File, and we're going to bring in our quilting design. So we always start with our quilting design, and the bee wings obviously didn't have a quilting design because they're dimensional wings, but for the bees we do have a quilting design. So I am going to do, let me find my quilting spring showers bundle. So I bought the bundle, so I have all of the designs at my fingertips. So the orange peel 2 is the first one. So I'm going to click on Pez, and it'll bring up all the designs, and we're looking for the 2x2. 2x2 orange peel. Double click on that, and it goes to the center. Click on the stitching. If you clicked on here, it's not going to do anything. If you click on the stitching, then we can move it. And I'm just going to use the grid as my guide to place it. All right, so what I want to do now, so you can see we have default blue, default orange, default blue, default orange. Since they're the same, it will make it really hard to sort, because if we were to sort it, it's going to put the placement stitch for the batting and the placement stitch of the main fabric together, and then for the default 2, orange, it would do the tack down of the batting and tack down of the main fabric together, and we want those to stay separated. So there's 2 things that you can do. You can either change the color on them. I'm going to do that. I think that's easy. But you can also, so let me show you how. So if we go to this first blue and we click on the color here, then these are the colors that are currently in the palette. If we click this threads tab here, or this little button, then we can change the color. I'm going to go ahead and just change it to marine. Easy to do. Say okay. All right, and then for the orange, same thing. Click on the color, choose a different color. I'm going to choose this Oriole and say okay. All right, so now they're different, right? You can see the marine, Oriole, and then default 1 blue, default 2 orange, and default 17 turquoise. All right, so now they're all different, so we can play around with it easier when we want to color sort it. All right, so for this first one, we are going to use it twice. I'm going to use it twice. I'm going to use it for 1 and 3 for this orange peel. So I'm going to go ahead and copy it. Control C, Control V, and then it brings it right over the top. So I'm going to go ahead and move that down. Well, actually, I'm going to move it to here. This would be number 3. All right, so we have 1 and 3. And then number 2, we're going to use geometric 3. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to this merge stitch file. And I'm going to find geometric 3. There it is. And we are going to look for the 2x2. And in horizontal. 2x2 horizontal. Double click that and move it over. I'm just using the grids as my guide. That makes it easy. All right. So again, we've got the default blue and default orange that are going to be the same. So before we copy and paste to get a fourth one, let's go ahead and make those changes now, then we don't have to do it twice. So I am going to go ahead and name it the same as I did the first two so that they can all sort together. So it was Marine and Oriole, and the easy way to tell is when you click on this color here, you can click on palettes and it shows the colors that are already in your design. So I'm going to go ahead and easily click on Marine for this first one, and then the second one, same thing, click on the color and click on Oriole because we're already in the palettes. So nice and easy, that shows us what colors were already in there. All right, so just like the one before it, we have Marine and Oriole, and then we have the default blue and default 2 orange, and then the turquoise. So I happen to know that later when we merge in our bees, they're going to use those default blue and default orange again. So we could go ahead and change those, but let's try it this way for now. All right, so we've got this first one all done. So we're going to go ahead and Control C, Control V to copy and paste it, and then bring that. It goes right on top of the other, so we just move it down. All right, so now we have our 4 quilting blocks. So we could go ahead and sort these just to go ahead and learn new things, right? Go to Utility, Color Sort. This design has been reduced by 15 color changes. That'll save us a lot of time. All right, I'm going to click New View just so that I can see it. Maybe we should click, if we click Save It, but I have more to do. So I'm going to go ahead and click New View. And again, that gives us a new tab. So if we went to this tab before, there's our 4 different steps of quilting. If we go to this one, it's all in one step, and we can click on this button here to show us. So we now have all of the placement stitches together for the batting, and then the tack down of the batting, and then the placement for the main fabric, and the tack down of the main fabric, and the quilting design. Easy. 5 colors. All of our quilting is ready to go. All right, so now we need to add in the bees. The bees are a little bit more elaborate. There's more color steps to it and more information. So let's go ahead and start with the first one. So we have our quilting design already done. You could save it now if you wanted to, if you thought you might have trouble later. It's up to you. So merge stitch file, I'm going to find the bees. So we're currently in the quilting design. So I'm just closing that a little bit. All right, spring showers, and then the embroidery files, and I use Pez for my machine, and spring showers quilt. So as soon as you click on that, then it'll show all of the files that are in that folder. So I'm going to start with B1. Double click on B1, and you can see it goes to the center of the hoop. Now see this box around it? We don't need this box because it is a placement and tack down for our main fabric, but we already have that in our quilting. But a little tip, don't delete it yet, because you'll see when we move our bee, we can use that box to line up with our current box to get it exactly centered. Easy to do. All right, so there is our first bee. So at this point, you could go ahead and delete these 2 steps, the placement and the tack down of the main fabric. I'm actually going to keep it, and the reason is so that I can tell everybody on the tutorial to bypass these for those that aren't using software. So up to you, leave them and bypass them, or go ahead and click on it and click delete. Easy to do. I'm actually going to change the colors because you can see we've got blue and orange further down, and I want to be able to color sort. And since I'm not using these, I don't care about them. I'm going to just change them to a dark color. So let's see. I don't know. let's say titanium. I'm going to say titanium for this, say okay. And then for the tack down, use another, what was that one? Oh well, it's going fast. Storm. I'm going to change it to Storm. All right, and hopefully these colors aren't already used. We'll see. Titanium and Storm. No. All right, so Titanium and Storm. Again, these are ones that we don't need and that you can go ahead and delete if you want to. All right, and then the next one is the bee head. And see, that we'll want to do on all of them. So we'll want to color sort later. Here's our first default one. So default one, this is the placement stitch for our wing fabric. So like I said before, you can go here and change the color and then have them all be the same for each of the bees. Or another option is you can click on this and give it a job. So right here, we're in the color tab right now. If we go to the applique tab, and it says it's not an applique, we can say, well, actually it is an applique. We're going to make it an applique position, and that will give it a stop. All right, so I'm going to say okay. So you can see that that is the fourth one. So if you want to write a little note that the fourth one gets changed to an applique position, that helps. So see, the first two are those placement and tack down of the main fabric, and then the third is the head, so right after that is the wing placement. So I changed that to an applique position. So the next one, let's see, this is linen, default 4 linen, default 4 linen 2. Those are different, so I think we could leave them. So let's jump to 7. What is this one? All right, this is a placement stitch for our dimensional wings. So again, it's that default one blue, which we already have up here. And if we were to color sort with all of these together, then our default one blues are going to come together, and we don't want that. So I'm going to change this. And like I said, you can change the color or we can give it a job because this is an applique piece. So I'm going to go ahead and change that to a job. So from this color here, I click on that, and then I click on the applique tab, and then I say it is an applique position, okay. All right, and then the next one, this is the tack down of that applique. So I'm going to go ahead and give that a job as well. So again, I click on that color, and then I tell it up here in this applique tab, and that it is an applique material, in other words, a tack down. All right, so we have another default one blue here. That must be, this must be a fabric. So let's go ahead and make it an applique and see how this does. So again, I'm new to this. I'm learning along with you. We're doing it together. So I'm going to go ahead and make this an applique position. Say okay, and then this one will be that tack down. So same thing, applique material. Say okay. So it'll be interesting to see if these are going to merge them together or if it'll stop. So we'll see. All right, so there is our first bee, and we've got that one all done. So let's go ahead and do our second bee. So spring showers, B2. Double click, and it'll go to the center. We will use that box to move it to where we want it to line up with our quilting design. All right, so there is our B2. So same thing, here's B2. This one, what did I use? Titanium and Storm. I'm gonna go ahead and do those again. You can just change, you can just delete these. You don't need them, but I'm going to use them. So I am going to look for my titanium. So notice I clicked on palettes, and that shows me the colors that are already in my design, and that just makes it really easy to find. And then this one was Storm. I'm in the palette, there's Storm. Easy. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. This fourth one we made into a applique piece. I'm just going to click on that color, change it to say that it is an applique position, and say okay. And then this one, did we make this? I don't think we did. Let's see. Applique position, we left it since the colors are different. I think it's fine. All right, so then the next one was here. 7, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the 7th one down, that is the applique piece for, or it's a marking for us to be able to put that dimensional wing down. So we're going to go ahead and make this as an applique piece. Give it a job. Applique position. Okay. And then this was the applique tack down. So I'm going to go ahead and tell this one that it has a job. Applique material. Okay. All right. And then this was also an applique piece. And so we did change this. So I'm going to go ahead and change this one also. And this was, let's see, what did I do? Applique piece, applique position, okay. And then this one is an applique material, applique tab, applique material, say okay. All right, so that's B2 is already done. That was quick. I know it's a little bit of thinking to do, but it's pretty quick and easy. All right, let's go ahead and bring in the third one. I'm curious to see how these are gonna sort. All right, here's the third one. Double click on that. It goes to the center, move it over. All right, and then same thing. So the first one I'm changing to that titanium. Palettes titanium, okay. And the second one to storm. Palette storm. All right, and then it was the fourth one down. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is our first applique piece, so we're going to go ahead and make this an applique. Say okay, and then that one we left as is, and so it was this number 7. And again, we're giving this one a job. We're telling it it's an applique piece. And number 8 is the applique material. In other words, a tack down. All right, and then the B body, that's also an applique position. So let's click on that, applique. And then this one is the tack down. So applique material. All right, so that one's done. Easy, easy. All right, we have one more. So merge stitch file, spring showers, and B4. All right, and then move it to the box that it should be in. All right, so for me, I'm going to change this to titanium. I wonder if I can just double click instead of, let's see, storm. I can. That saves a little bit of time. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the fourth one, we're going to make it an applique piece. And number 7. And 8 is the applique material because it's a tack down. And then just the B body. Make that an applique position. And the tack down of the B, oops, there it is right there. Applique body is applique material. All right, so now we have all of our quilting and our 4 Bs, and there are 53 steps on this, 53 steps. And that's what we already merged together, the quilting design. So if we hadn't done that first, it'd be even more. My gosh, that's a lot. All right, so you can see all of them here, all of these different steps, and a lot of them are the same. Most of them are the same. So let's go ahead and try that color sort. Are you nervous? I'm a little nervous. Hopefully we got it all right. Let's see. Utility color sort. And it's thinking, thinking, thinking. This design page has been reduced by 25 color changes. Let's do a new view so we can see what it did. All right, and it brings it all into one. So let's see, the first one is the placement of our batting, tack down of our batting, placement of our main fabric, tack down of our main fabric, all of our quilting designs together. And then these are the two that I said you can take out if you want. I'm going to leave them in just so I remember to tell everybody what they are and why we don't need them and we can bypass them. And then all of the bee heads are together. Nice. These are not together. Let's see. Why isn't that one? Oh, you know what? I think. All right, so I found one little error on mine. For some reason, one of my blues was like sea foam or something instead of blue. So I did change that. It was easy to do. You just click on it, see how they're all four together. Now one of them was separated. And like I said, it came up as seafoam green or something like that. So you just click on it and make sure that it's the color that it's supposed to be using the palette. So that was very easy to fix. I found one other thing though. See how each of these are separated? It didn't do all four of those together. And actually, that would be fine. It probably might actually even be preferred because what we're doing is we're holding down that the wings, the dimensional wings on top of there. And then rather than it doing all four at once, it will do one at a time. So actually, I think I'll leave that. But I was thinking about changing it to say applique piece instead of applique material, or applique position instead of applique material, so that it would do them all together. But now that I think about it, you'd have to have those dimensional wings taped just right. So this is probably a better option to have those separated with the stops so that I can make sure that they all line up right. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that actually. So we are down to, let's see how many, 20 stops, color stops, or not just color stops, but stops 20. So I could bring it down another 3 if I decided to merge these little dimensional wing tack downs together, but I think I'm going to keep it like that and just be happy with that and not worry about my fingers. So there we have it. So we have 4 bees all together. Let me show you real quick. So we have the placement of the batting all together, the tack down of the batting, the placement of the main fabric, the tack down of the main fabric, and then all the quilting designs are together. And then we have those 2 that I told you could bypass. This is the placement of the main fabric, but we already have it in our quilting, and the tack down of our main fabric. So those you can take out if you want. I'm leaving them in just for the tutorials. And then all of the bee heads are all together. All of the bee wings are together. And then we have the tack down all together. I could separate those, but I'm not worried about it. So I'm leaving it as is. And then the satin stitch around the wings and the placement, that's the placement stitch for the dimensional wings. And then like I said, I have each of these tack down of the wings separated. And I could do that all together, but since I'm new to this part of it, I'm going to go ahead and leave it as is and see how that goes. Then we have the placement stitch for the body and the tack down stitch of the body on all of the bees and all of that cute decorative stitching around them, and then the bee stripes. So all together, instead of, what was it, like 53 steps, not counting the quilting, even that was more. So a whole lot less steps and 1 hooping, so save on stabilizer and time. And we learned how to color sort and align and do different things on Embellishment Essentials. So excellent. I'm pretty happy with that. So if you want to order Embellishment Essentials, I will add a link on this video. You just click on that and add your order, and it will give me a little affiliate credit for you purchasing with my link. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started on some bees. Hey everyone, just so you know, I decided I am merging my bee wings and my bees together in 2 hoopings, one for the wings and one for the bees. And the process on the machine will be the exact same, so don't worry about it. But I just wanted to let you know that it will look a little bit different on the hoop part of it, but the tutorial part will be all the same steps. So I will be doing 4 together, and you'll be doing either 1 or 4. It's totally up to you. said, today I am wearing my beehive shirt. It is from a Bella box. It was a bonus design that came with the Bella box, and I added some special wording to it. But it was a Bella box design. I don't remember where I got the shirt. It's old. But anyway, so let's go ahead and get started making some bee wings.